Today we'll be discussing villains. Can you give them a hero story? Let's find out on Behind the Magic. Kid tested, mother approved.
Hey everybody, so as we're ramping into second week of Behind the Magic, I'm sure you guys recognized the voice that did the intro, and that is Rachel. Hey.
Hi.
So she is joining us on a more permanent basis. She is going to co-host Behind the Magic with me.
Hey.
So I will have to share the spotlight.
Yep, I'm gonna come and try to hog it all. So now you're just gonna have to fight for it.
You're on. On like Donkey Kong.
On like Donkey Kong? Wow, this is a challenge.
Alright, so we have new daily themes and formats, and though we are still a sister publication with Talk Disney to Me, we are not necessarily going to be following their themes of the month. We will still have some of them coming in now and then and everything, but we have our own structure. So, Rachel, what are Mondays?
Mondays are the magical and mythical of Mondays.
What do we do on Magical Mythical Mondays besides be awesome?
Oh, I just thought we were just gonna be awesome. I thought that would have been fun.
No. So what we're going to do is we are going to be doing hypothetical things. What did we pick for a theme today?
We are going to be taking two Disney villains and putting them in the spotlight, making them the heroes of their own story.
Dun dun dun.
It's going to be exciting.
This is all your idea, not my idea. Why don't you take it away?
Okay, so I'm going to give you two beautiful Disney villains, because personally, I like villains more than heroes, at least most of the time.
Beautiful on the inside or the outside?
Both, depending on which villain we're talking about, except for maybe Jafar. He's not beautiful anywhere. So I'm going to give you two different villains, and you are going to have to tell me a scenario / switch their story from the movie that they are in into making them the hero and no longer being the bad guy.
I will do my best.
They may be a bad guy, but they aren't a bad guy. Shout out to anyone that got that Wreck-It Ralph reference.
Mm-hmm. I want to go to a Bad Guys Anonymous meeting.
Oh, yes, it'd be so awesome. Just to be in any video game would be pretty awesome.
Although I question whether Zangief was truly a bad guy, but that's a different topic for a different day.
Yes, it is. Maybe we should jump right into it with our first villain.
Okay, bring it on.
Alright, so your first villain is the Queen of Hearts.
From Alice in Wonderland?
From Alice in Wonderland.
Ooh, that's going way back.
It's a challenge.
I don't know if I can make her good. I don't know. You might have to give me layups.
Okay, alright.
Because I'm not familiar with, like... I mean, I'm familiar with the movies, but I can't be like, oh, you know.
Background.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I know who the Queen of Hearts is, but yeah.
Okay, what about Hook?
Oh.
Okay, so that is the villain we will go with. To start us out, Hook.
Alright, so Hook is just a nice gentleman who was struck by tragedy. I mean, animal attacks are a very tragic situation. He was lost his hand to a crocodile. I mean that's tragic. And then to make it worse, there's these kids that can't be mature and responsible. They can't grow up. They're never, and they just torment him relentlessly. He's out on his cruise ship, and they got to fly onto the cruise ship and start poking him with wood swords and everything. So I mean, he's this tormented guy. I mean, I don't know if he could be a hero, but I mean, you just got to feel bad for this tormented Hook guy. I mean, he just has a tragic life. I mean, Smee's the true hero. Smee,
oh, definitely
takes care of the tormented old guy and is patient and understanding, and he's even tolerant with the kids who are just horrible to Hook.
Smee is like the good old friend that you always wanted to have that doesn't come until you have a really bad experience.
And has a mum tattoo.
Yes, he does. You have made this special place in my heart for Hook now.
No, I didn't.
I feel bad for him now.
Forgot to mention the kidnapping and the rest of it.
It was.
They're misdemeanors in Neverland, all made up.
Of course.
He was never convicted.
Exactly.
All right, so what is our second one?
Your second villain is Maleficent.
Well,
Wait, you can't have Maleficent. There's basically a movie that portrays her.
I was about to give you the plot of the movie.
Yeah. No, we are not doing Maleficent. Okay. How about Gaston?
Okay. Gaston.
Gaston.
This French stud, Gaston. And he's in this small village. He's stuck in a quaint little village despite his great athletic ability. I mean, if this was the nowadays, he'd be an NFL athlete or something. But no, he's stuck in this quaint little village. So he makes the best of his life. I mean, he does everything to show off and use his athletic prowess around the village and just goes and does everything around the village. But then there's this monster who kidnaps people. The monster kidnaps this girl and her father, locks them up and everything. And then despite all that, he heroically gets the villagers together to go save her. And her Stockholm Syndrome drives her to love the beast, even though he's this monster that, like, smashes things around the house and is just violent temper and just not an overall nice guy. I mean, he turned a little old lady out. I mean, this is a despicable person. Gaston goes to fight him, and he's the bad guy because Belle's got Stockholm Syndrome.
Oh, poor Belle. Or poor townspeople, should I say.
Having to deal with a monster.
And that great guy, Gaston. How is he not married yet? Nobody knows.
Well, I mean, he had those, like, three little...
Mm-hmm. He just couldn't decide, I guess. He was looking for the right person.
He was gonna do the pity case and get with Belle.
Oh, I see. Oh, how compassionate.
I don't...
Well, that was beautiful. You have made me feel so many different feels to so many villains that have been mistreated in the Disney universe.
No.
It's beautiful.
All right, so now it's a bonus one. Now I get to pull one on you.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I got one that you should be able to get. Scar.
Oh, Scar. Okay. Well, first off, I'll start with his name. His name was basically meant Scar. So when he didn't have the scar, what does that mean? His parents just didn't like him enough, and they called him something that he didn't even have to plague him for the rest of his life. So that was just traumatizing. Childhood trauma right there. Then his older brother, who was just trying to outshine him in every way possible with the actual full mane. He couldn't grow a full-faced mane, so he felt bad about that. He was always very sickly looking. When he tried to act like a bigger lion and tried to take charge of the village, he got shut down, even though he trying to show off to his brother to be best friends. But his brother was just so hot up on his high horse that nothing could bring him down. So when they went for a walk, his brother fell into a gorge, and he tried saving him, and it didn't work.
Well, that's a lie.
And, no, that's not a lie. He tried holding on for as long as his little arms could hold. And then he fell. Though blaming it on his grandson, on his nephew, was sort of a lowball move, but he had to do what he had to do. That childhood trauma.
Yeah, pass it on, childhood trauma.
Yep, great excuse.
Yeah, I think both me and you took pity the villain sides more than make them a hero. I don't think, despite our best efforts, either of us made them heroes.
I think Disney creates villains too well. There's no way to make them actual heroes.
So which villain were you most afraid of?
Most afraid of? Jafar.
Why?
Because, I don't know, the way that he acted always creeped me out when I was younger. He had that grin that was, like, so evil, it just made you cringe.
Mine was definitely Ursula.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you've been to Disney World, but...
Yes, I have.
You go to the parade, right? You see Hook walking down. You're like,
that's true.
You're like, oh,
gosh.
I could sucker punch him, maybe take him out. Even if you're like 12, you're like, oh, I could get him. But I mean, Ursula, you're a full-grown adult, and you're like, that thing could like use its tentacles and crush me. That is